oncologist, and I that's for reasons because I see what the effects of chemotherapy and radiation therapy had on my mother, who she was diagnosed 3 months after my surgery with cancer herself. She had stage 4 small cell lung and liver cancer, and she opted in for the conventional treatment of chemotherapy and radiation therapy. And she, after the chemo and the radiation, she got an all clear. She got a clear scan. But about 6 weeks later, she was re-diagnosed, and it was just all downhill from there. So from the time from when she was diagnosed to her time of passing in April of 2016, she didn't have any quality of life, and with the thoughts of the radiation treatment for myself, like they were going to have to make a mask for my face to hold me down, so I couldn't move, and send a laser into my brain, and which would make me more susceptible to seizures. I've epilepsy as well, due to the tumor. But anyway, I wanted medical cannabis as a treatment after surgery to treat the recurrence, and I made the decision after talking to Vera to go to the Cannabis clinic in Barcelona. I had a Skype consultation with them, and after that consultation, and they reviewed my medical records. They had seen me fit for medicinal cannabis treatment, and gave me a prescription for 10% THC and 10% CBD. I had to take them I took them as drops. They come in a little bottle with drops, and I worked my way up from 6 drops to 15 drops 3 times a day. And during those 3 months away in Spain, I was by myself for most of it. My dad came out with me for the first 2 weeks because he thought I'd be all over the shop from the THC. But he said there was no bother on me. The only thing he'd done was made me snore, so he just had to turn up the air conditioner a little bit more. But during my time in Spain, I was able to walk several kilometres per day. I was out every day in the sun. I was able to reduce my medication. I was going out to Spain. I was taking 15 tablets a day, and when I was returning from Spain, I was down to 5 tablets a day. So I think I put all that down to medicinal cannabis as well. After we returned from Spain, I arranged, well, my wife arranged for me to get another scan, because of, the idea in Beaumont was that I was on palliative care, you know. But my wife managed to convince them to give me another scan, and the results of that scan, I went up for them, and I walked into the room, and the doctor says to me, "Kenny, you have a good scan." He says, "There's been no progression in your tumour since 2016, October 2016, and this is in February of 2018. And I says to him, "So, geez, that's brilliant. I can't get over that. Like, you know." I says, "You know that what I've been doing. Like, you know, you know that I've been taking medicinal cannabis. Like, you know." And he says, "Yeah, I do indeed." He was amazed. Like, he couldn't get over it. Like, and I says to him, "So, will I continue on with what I'm doing? You know?" And he says, "Yeah, but here you'll have me up before the medical board yet, you know." And so it goes to show that the consultants are afraid to apply for licenses, and I thought to myself, if 3 months treatment, if that could control my tumour with 3 months treatment. Imagine what a year's treatment could do to it. It could have totally nuke it all together. There could be no trace of it at all. So at that stage I contacted Green Knight Medicine. They're a company here in Ireland that are licensed to produce CBD and THC. And they said to me if I could get a script from my doctor that they would put in for a license on my behalf. So I got on to my doctor and asked him if he could give me a prescription for it. And he tried previously to get me a prescription for Sativex, GW Pharmaceuticals product, but he was unsuccessful. So he went on to try and get this prescription for a 10 ml bottle of 10% THC from Green Knight Medicines. And he came back to me 2 weeks later, and his medical indemnifier, which is his insurance company, told him that they advised him not to do it. So that's where I felt like I came to an impasse. I'm a European citizen, and I have a European prescription from medically qualified doctors in Barcelona that are qualified in the treatment with medicinal cannabis. And so I ordered 1 month supply from the lab that the Cannabis clinic had set me up with. And I had, as you can imagine, spending 3 months over in Spain, I had a few contacts over there. And see, the lab won't send the THC outside of Spain. They would only send it within Spain. So I had an angel over there that forward on was going to forward on the parcel to me. But anyway, the parcel arrived in Dublin April 17th, and it was stopped. It was 5 bottles of 10% THC. They sent me out the packaging all right, with a letter saying that it seized 50 grams of cannabis resin.
Oh my God.
And I straight away, that boiled my blood. So I rang them up and I says, here, I says, what you seized was my life-saving medicine. I says, and it wasn't cannabis resin. I want a letter that states that it was 10% THC. And I got a call back the following day saying they'll sort that out for me, and I did get a letter saying 50 grams of cannabis oil eventually out of that. But that's when I lodged my appeal. I came back with all the evidence that I had, my certification from the Cannabis clinic, and the recommendation from the doctors, and so I sent that to the Revenue, to Leah Varadkar, and to the Minister for Health, Simon Harris. And I got a reply back from the Revenue saying they were investigating it. I was demanding my medicine back on the grounds that I had evidence that it was working for me. And I got a reply back from the Taoiseach's office saying that he passed it to Simon Harris. And I got a reply from Simon Harris saying that to thank me for the email and that he was looking into it. But the way I see it is that I'm defying the odds at the minute. I should be dead. Like, the prognosis for a person with my condition is 3 years, and that's including treatment. So I think I should be studied and not have any doors closed on me at all. So I'm calling for legislation to be moved forward, because there's no time for Simon to be out reviewing every license. And as he says himself, it's between the doctor and patient. So I think Gino's bill is the only way forward. So make a medicine, make it happen. Yeah.
The next speaker is, well, she obviously needs no introduction, and it's Vera Toomey.
Hello. What's the rest don't know where to start. I suppose if you have a minute there in a while, I put a picture of Eva up on Facebook this morning, and we were in the kitchen and we were singing nursery rhymes, and we were having such a laugh. And we were having such a laugh because she was having the laugh, and she was giggling and loving it and wanting us to repeat the nursery rhyme again and again and again. And you know what? I'll keep repeating the nursery rhymes all day long. You know, her requests for this is what medical cannabis has done. Yesterday, you know, or the other day, out around with the fine weather, running around the garden after her, you know, she's well able. And it's my anxiety now, running around after her, that I'm still afraid that she'll fall, or you know the way you'd be. That's what medical cannabis is doing, and it's so heartbreaking to continue to be getting phone calls from people that need this medication, when you're seeing the positive impact and the life-saving impact that it's having with our daughter and our family. I think there is something so wrong when people like Kenny have to, you know, when people like Kenny, people like Eva have to leave their own country, leave a loving family, leave the environment that will give them solace while they're fighting their illness, to go to a place where you know nobody, where you don't know the language, because that just occurred to me on Sunday that we were exactly the same. Like, we didn't have any Dutch over. And I tell you, there is nobody should be put through the isolation and the loneliness of, you know, putting a child to bed at 7 or 8 o'clock in the night and coming down the stairs and just looking at the 4 grey walls, and there's no point in turning on the television because it's all in Dutch. And I can assure you were the same, probably much worse actually for you over there. I was occupied during the day at least. Simon Harris and Leo Varadkar and Simon Coveney and Michael Creed, and I can't think of any of the other names of the politicians. They have no right to do that to us. The facts are there. The medication, the CBD and the THC is working over and over and over again with people for cancer. It's the most extraordinary medication to control seizures, and case after case after cases are coming up. But what I would say is that I understand the fear of coming forward. I really, really do. I understand, you know, you're dealing with an illness. You're maybe accessing your medication through illegal avenues, let's say, and you're afraid because you're dealing with your illness. Your medication is illegal, but the thing is, what they're doing to us in this country, we have to be brave. You know, we have to stand up and come out and say it. Because if we don't stand up and come out and say it, you'll have people coming on the television saying the cannabis is bad, the cannabis is dangerous, the cannabis is going to harm you. We need to come out in numbers and say it's not dangerous. It's the medication perhaps that I was on before did me more harm than the medication that I'm on now in the form of CBD and THC. Because my personal journey with Eva, that is what I experienced. that the pharmaceutical medications didn't control her seizures